My dad told me to never answer the basement door. I thought he was joking. When I was 15, my family moved into an old farmhouse about 30 minutes outside the nearest town. The house had one weird feature. There were two basement doors. One was inside the kitchen, which led down to the normal basement. The other was outside, on the side of the house. It was an old metal door that opened into the same basement from outside. The first night we moved in, my dad gave me one rule. If you ever hear knocking on the outside basement door after dark, ignore it. I laughed. Who would knock on a basement door? He didn't laugh back. I'm serious. Over the next few months, nothing happened, until one rainy Friday night. My parents had driven into town for dinner, leaving me home alone. Around 11 p.m., I was watching TV when I heard it. 3 slow knocks. Knock, knock, knock. It wasn't coming from the front door. It wasn't the back door. It was coming from underneath the house. I muted the TV. Silence. Then, knock, knock, knock. I remembered what my dad had said. My first thought was that someone was messing with me. I grabbed a flashlight and walked into the kitchen. The basement door was closed. As I reached for the handle, it was my dad. The first thing he asked was, "Do you hear it?" I froze. How did you know? He didn't answer. Instead, he said, "Listen to me very carefully. Do not open the basement door." I laughed nervously. I was literally about to. His voice said, "No. Go outside. Get in your truck. Drive to the gas station. Call me when you're there." Before I could ask why, the knocking started again. But this time, it wasn't coming from outside anymore. It was coming from the other side of the kitchen basement door, like someone had already gotten inside. I ran. I didn't even grab my wallet. I got in my truck and sped to the nearest gas station. My dad met me there 20 minutes later. On the drive home, I kept asking him what was going on. He finally admitted something he'd never told me. The previous owner had caught a man sleeping in the basement several years earlier. The man escaped before police arrived. They never found him. Dad had started hearing the knocking a few weeks after we moved in. Always late at night. Always on weekends. He thought it was kids trying to scare us. Until one morning he found muddy footprints leading from the outside basement door to the staircase, and stopping directly outside my bedroom. We sold the house 6 months later. A year after moving, I was scrolling through local news. A man had finally been arrested after breaking into several rural homes. When they searched his truck, they found dozens of notebooks. Each notebook had an address on the cover. Inside were pages describing the families who lived there, what time they left for work, which windows they forgot to lock, when the kids were home alone. One notebook had our address. The last entry simply read, "The boy almost opened the door."